feels like for me, since I became an adult, Trudeau's been in power and the Liberals have, and just everything that I know of Canada being an adult has been turned to shit and run into the ground. Like, you can't afford a home, you can't afford groceries, I can't even get a doctor. I have to pay $100 to go to a walk-in clinic here so that I can go to an actual doctor as opposed to my family doctor, because there are none here. Nobody's incentivized to see you, to take care of you. This dental care scam. I've gone to the dentist I don't know how many times the past 2 years. Hey, I heard about this dental program they're giving out. Oh, actually, it's a scam. They ask us to give up our services for free, and then they take the credit for it. And why would we volunteer our services for free when we are a for-profit dental office? Like, just the lunacy going on in this country, where all we do is prioritize the rainbow flags and just the insanity. And not even prioritizing families. Like, when was the last time you heard somebody talk about being pro-family in this country? Like, it's just, what do you think about this? You have family.
Okay.
Sorry,
I'll break it down for you. No, it's okay. I'll break it down to you for a guy who's 45 years old and has a family of two and is the sole income in the family. I think Canada is definitely behind the eight ball, especially after the pandemic and what we went through. And like a lot of other countries that overreacted when it came to the pandemic, we've got some debt to pay. When it comes to the Liberal stronghold that's been in this country for, like you said, going on 10 years now, at this point, we're in a situation where the leader's out. The guy that was the head of the party, Justin Trudeau, he's out now. He's like, all right, I'm stepping away. You asked for me to step away. I'm stepping away. And now all the people that supported him and were in his ear the entire time saying, do this, do this, do this, do this, are going, we're the big change. We're the ones that are ready. So essentially, and I'm going to use this metaphor as a very centrist when it comes to my politics, because there's a lot of things I'm liberal about. There's a lot of things I'm conservative about. If you decide to vote Liberal, that is your God-given right. You are more than welcome to go vote for your local candidate in your riding. But if you vote Liberal based on the leadership federally, it's the equivalent of shitting your pants and then changing your shirt.
Socks. Changing the socks.
That's really what it is. Because who you're voting in are the same people that got us into this situation. I'm not saying that the other option is better by any stretch, but in this situation, it is. Because if you got somebody in your family who likes to spend, you can't be the other side of the family going, whoa, I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to go spend. You need somebody who's going to counterbalance that. That is the Conservative Party. Does it suck getting cuts? Yes. I remember single-handedly as a high school student walking out of class as a collective and marching down to our provincial building in Fort McMurray, Alberta, when Ralph Klein was making all those cuts. And he even said, we have to. We don't have a choice at this point. We have to make cuts. And my mother was a nurse, and so it sucked. But he said, once we get over this hump, I'll refund everything. Things will get better. And he was right. So you kind of have to trust the process. The Conservatives are the ones that are fiscally responsible. When it comes to the other side, we've done enough spending over the past 10 years. It hasn't gotten us a whole lot further ahead. We need to go into cleanup mode. At this point, spending more is not going to help. Is it going to suck? Absolutely. Regardless of who you vote in now, it's going to suck. We are going into a suck era when it comes to finances. But do you want the party that's going to be a little more transparent and say, here's what we're doing. We're paying off debt. We can't be in debt anymore. Or do you want the ones that are going to get you even further into debt and have you live that illusion of everything's fine. And that's when things really crumble. And that's when you're in complete disarray. I mean, we're bad right now. Our dollar is terrible. It's just under 70 cents. It's the worst it's been in a long time. It's going to float there for the next 3-4 years probably, but it will get better. But you got to clean up your bedroom before you invite somebody over.
I mean, does it not feel like a repeat of what they're doing, what they tried to do in the States? Like, I don't see the red guys at all talking about what they want to do to fix Canada. They just keep talking about how basically winning a popularity contest, and they have the entire media honeymoon of like, oh, ignore what your eyes say. This is the next savior. Everything's so great. I told Dave this before we started recording today. So I'm going to go to Pierre's rally here in Surrey today, later tonight after we finish recording the show, because I'm kind of curious to see what it's all about and also to ask questions, because when he does rallies, you get to ask questions. And the one that I wanted to ask him, hopefully I'll
make sure you're rolling tape when you do, by the way. It'll be great content for the show.
Oh, trust me, I'm bringing my chick. I'm going to make sure she's got the camera going. I'm curious to see what he says, but I want to ask him about pro-family. Because, I mean, people ask about economy and Trudeau and whatnot. I've never heard anybody talk about being pro-family in the sense of my roommate, when I played in Sweden, he was from Hungary, and he talked about When you have 3 kids in Hungary, you have income tax. But when you have a fourth, you have zero income tax, as long as it's the same father, same mother. Fourth kid, no income tax. Imagine saving $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year on income tax just by having a fourth kid, which is the definition of being pro-family. You're encouraging people to have more kids. And I saw a stat the other day that every North American or every Canadian woman is producing 1.3 kids, which is barely enough to sustain the population, because obviously you're going to have some women that don't, and then obviously considering the death rate. But if the population is growing the way that it is with all the crazy unchecked mass immigration, but the birth rates are so low, the country's going to be taken over. And if you bring in enough people from the third world, they're going to bring third world values. And Canada is becoming and will become a third world country if that rate does not stop. So, and maybe I'll leave that part out because I don't know if I'll answer that, but what are you going to do to be pro-family and encourage actual families to stay together and to produce? I mean, like my dad has, I don't know about you, Dave. My dad has, I think, 7 or 8 siblings, and then his dad had like 12. And now you look, I mean, you got 2 boys. I know you've talked about loving to have 5, 6, 7, 8 if you had met Candace earlier, but there's no big families anymore because nobody can afford to do it.
There are big families. Absolutely, there are big families. They're just they're more rural for the most part because it takes a lot of hands to run a property or an acreage or a farm, whatever you're running. It's not like they don't exist anymore, but what you're seeing it more is you're seeing it in a lot more of these countries that are immigrating into Canada. There are factions of people in this world who believe that they are going to take over this world by overpopulation. There's nobody's been able to figure out the algorithm quite yet on how to do this planet properly. But in the meantime, we're all just kind of rats in the race when it comes to it. So again, I don't have the answer. I don't have the solution on how to fix any of this. If I can give you any advice, when you do go in and ask these questions, ask the question instead of telling him what he should do and then asking the question of, are you going to do this? Present a problem and then ask how it's going to be fixed.
Do you think I should mention I want to have a big family. I don't want to have 1 or 2 kids like most families do. Like the average birth rate is 1.3 kids per woman in Canada. I want to have 3, 4, 5. If it was affordable, I would absolutely do that. What are you going to do policy-wise to help me accomplish that goal? Is that a good question to ask?
Great question. I'll tell you an absolute true story, and I'll leave the names out. But back when I was making the big money in radio, when I was making NHL minimum doing radio, my wife was a stay-at-home mom. My 2 boys, they were young. We were nurturing that. The fact that we had my wife staying at home and nurturing the family and being that traditional household, we were very proud of that. And the fact that my wife was not getting a check from the government, I thought was quite insulting when everyone else was getting this. And so my local member of parliament had a first Sunday of every month, she had a coffee at her local coffee shop in our riding. And I went and I spoke with her and I sat down and everyone had a turn and there was people there and whatnot and everyone had a turn. And I sat down and I asked the question. I said, here I am working very hard to provide for my family and my wife is not getting a check. And she looked at me and she goes, well, that's what you get for making too much money. That was her answer.
To be fair, though, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that basically she told me that's your punishment for working so hard that you do not get paid from the government.
We've talked about it off the show, but if I was to try to accomplish what you've accomplished family-wise, it would be almost impossible today starting at the age that I am, just based off the affordability, right?
Nah, nothing's impossible.
Not impossible, but significantly more difficult, right?
Sure. You're behind the 8 ball to start. I totally get it, yeah.
So what are you as a politician going to do to help me? So I don't know. It'll be interesting to report to you next week. We're in person next week as well, too. So we'll have a couple of good shows. And the voicemail will return. Don't worry. Keep your voicemail calls coming in. There's a link in the description to call in. And we'll get you back in the future. But in the next 4 weeks, this is like the most important 4 weeks in Canadian history. If the Conservatives don't win, it may not be perfect, but there will not be another fair election. There will not be a future Canada if they do not win, and we are
Don't be
done.
a fear monger. They were there. They were saying that down in the U.S. Look, people have been saying that for decades. We have a system in place. It's not going anywhere. They've tried to reform it. This is a very important election. There's no doubt. There's no doubt in that whatsoever. But it's not like they're going to turn it into a dictatorship anytime soon. We're okay.
Call the voicemail. Do you think this will be the last election if they don't win, or do you think that I'm nuts? There's also shout out to Dave. Dave, a different Dave. He works for CBC Vancouver. He listens to the show every single week. I think his brother's running on the island in beautiful Parksville, BC, just outside of Combs. Be curious to see what he's got to say in the voicemail.
If you enjoyed what you just saw, we do new clips every single day, twice a day on the Clips channel. You see clips right here. And beside Dave's crotch, we have a full-length show every single Sunday, right by my hand.
Click right here.